with COVID, this pandemic obviously has been financially tiring for a lot of artists and a lot of managers. But then sometimes it's a silver lining. Somebody might come through with a deal. My question is, how do y'all know when to take the deal? What is the right deal? And I'll start that with Giuseppe. How do you know, or how did you know in certain situations, okay, we're going to take this deal, as opposed to, or why the first deal isn't always the best deal?
And more, just to elaborate more on the question, are we talking about overall deals in general? Are we talking about a recording deal? Are we talking about a brand deal?
Let's get into recording deals. Let's get into recording deals.
In general, for me, it's more of like a feel and an instinct. Obviously, when we were doing the record deal, everybody was reaching out to Tecca, trying to sign Tecca. So obviously, we took all the meetings that we could, because I wanted Tecca to really get his own sense of the team that he wanted around him and who he was really rocking with. Because at the end of the day, all these major labels are pretty much, the same. I think it really comes down to the core management team to put together, the content, to make sure the artist is being consistent. At least for me and Tecca, like, we're putting together the visuals, we're helping put together the records, and then we're bringing that over to the label and setting up a plan to be as efficient as possible with the rollout of the music. So I think, in general, it's a trust, it's a gut, it's an instinct. And then, I think also any artist going into a record deal, unless you really believe in the label, have some leverage when you go in there, in terms that are favorable for Tecca. And in Tecca's term, it's a partnership. He's not signed to the label. He has his own label deal with a major label that believes in him, and it's a partnership.
That's big. Byron, touch on that, man. How did you know? Like, what was the best deal going into it, or how did you navigate picking the right deal, securing the right deal? For Cordae.
I think deals. I'll talk about brand deals in this instance. I think it's more so finding options that fit within your plan and truly the DNA of the artist. So I think it's important that we don't want to do anything for the sake of a deal. I think in COVID times, in times where people are financially strapped, people sometimes do some dangerous things in order to earn some money. And I think the most things you can do is by sort of deviating from your path, deviating from your character, deviating from the brand you built. So I think it's very important to stay on brand and find the alignments that sort of fit within the structure that you're building. You don't want to reach for anything that sort of feels out of character. I'm all for like doing things outside the box. So it's not so it's not about the comfort zone, but it needs to be still fit within the DNA of what you're building. So a key thing for us is trying to find partners or deals that sort of fit within the context of what we're building. And in most cases, we try to have them sort of plug into our plan versus trying to do something for the sake of obviously we keep the brand goals in mind, right? But we want to make sure that it still stays true to what we're doing, because at the end of the day, they want to speak to our audience, and we know how to really address and communicate with them best. So we try to find a hybrid that works for the brand getting what they need out of it, and us really servicing our fans with content or programs that make sense for us and them.
I love that. Always got to maintain and protect the brand. I mean, Zoe, you're running with a collective. Is it similar in that sense with internet money?
Well, with internet money, it's like you said, it's a collective. It's a lot of them, so it's a lot of different deals. But I'm gonna touch on this deal stuff because I like being honest. So when it comes to deals, right, everybody has to understand the clientele you have. Some people might say, I wonder why he signed that deal, why she signed that deal, why they did this deal. Maybe because the client is in a fucked up situation in their home. Maybe they had war in their neighborhood. Maybe their mother is dying or on dialysis and they need a certain amount of money. Maybe their grandmother just died. They have to bury her. You never really understand certain situations until you know said talent and knowing where they come from or what they have at stake. Because maybe if they don't take this deal today, tomorrow morning they might not even be alive to be able to say, I could have took this deal yesterday and I would have had this money. I could have been able to move out my situation. So every deal is very different and has to be treated as such. I'm not telling you go sign somebody say, here's $1 million, and you want to look at the contract, and tomorrow morning they own your fucking life. That's not what I'm saying. And also always have a lawyer read over the deal and give you option A, B, and C for each deal and where that deal can go. But a lot of times people are like, yeah, you know, every artist is not fortunate to extend 6 months and say, you know, we're going to wait a while. We're going to sit down with everybody, and we're going to keep building up our leverage. Some have to take this deal today or tomorrow because they might end up dead on jail in 7 days. I mean, I'm from the hood, born and raised. A lot of these artists, they're from the same places that I'm from, or they relate to the same situations. A lot of times they don't have 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, or a year to lollygag and play the tug of war game. They don't always have those situations. So it's always so special when people say, like, why did he sign that or why did he sign this? Taz's first deal with Mike Karen APG, it wasn't even over 6 figures. But what Taz did, he took that deal and said, Bird, we're gonna break it down, we're gonna get our money, and we're gonna be able to live and we're gonna pay, we're gonna do the responsible thing. Pay our cell phone bills or have money for our mortgage, for our children to eat, and make sure our parents are not struggling for a dollar bill or put food on the table. But even after the money is split, Taz said, okay, Mike Karen, you signed me, you giving me this check. Thank you for believing in me 4 years ago when everybody would have looked over past me. Now, you said I can use the studio? Thank you. I'm going to use it 7 days a week when I could only use the studio in my house for 2 days. I don't have to leave the building. I can be here every day and work with the artists. I'm going to be here every day. I can fly my other producers in and work. So it's about what you do when you get that deal. Yes, you can make millions of dollars. You make hundreds of thousands. Yes, you can make money. We all can make money. We all can get a job at McDonald's tomorrow and make money. But it's about what you do with that opportunity that's going to bring you more money. So don't ever look at the deal like, man, I'm only getting 100,000, but this artist might get 3 million. Yeah, but that 3 million might be his last check. That 100,000 might set you up to make 300 million tomorrow morning. So that deal situation is people never really be honest. Like, people never really honest to the fullest extent. Some people don't always have the same situations. So what works best for you might not work best for somebody else. So always when you're doing your deal, figure out what you can do, what opportunities come with that building. Because you might say, okay, cool, I'm gonna do Atlantic versus Interscope, but maybe Atlantic is the set artist works in that certain department, but they giving me less money. But I know those artists who rap like me or who kind of have the same style, they make that next financial bagging. Or you can go to Republic, the big ass label, and Drake's there and fucking The Weeknd. But that might not really be your talent pole. You see what I'm saying? Even though they're giving you more money, but it might not work for you the same way Atlantic would work for you for your style of music. So it's always very different when it comes to that deal. And I mean, I don't want to sound repetitive, but like I said, every artist situation is different. So when you're the artist and the manager, only you guys know the struggle and the situation you got going on when you're going into that deal. And don't let the outside critics, man, I can get you 500,000 over here. I can get you this. Yeah, but is that going to work in my favor? Or do I have to wait 7 months to get paid out? It's a lot of things that factor in it. And again, Taz didn't take the biggest bag on that first situation. But I guarantee you 4 years later, it's a different conversation. Trust me.